Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, India's G20 presidency and other commemorations in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
The blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating World Rangers Day or World Ranger Day, as it is called internationally on July 31st, 2023 this year and every year on July 31st. Park Ranger may not be the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that it's World Ranger Day, or you might be more likely to have visions of Army Rangers and so on. But World Ranger Day is not about military or sports heroes. Today, we pay tribute to the park rangers, also known as forest rangers, the unsung heroes who protect, preserve, and defend forests across the world, and also America's dwindling wilderness land resources, and across the world, forest and forest resources. And we commemorate rangers who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Most of us can easily picture that park ranger verify passes and collecting entrance fees at the entrance booth of a national park, or the forest ranger interpreting wildlife and discussing conservation as they lead visitors on the tours. But few among us are familiar with how often a park ranger's duties bring him or her face to face with life-threatening dangers inherent to their profession. In 2004, concerned about the lack of respect for and awareness of the dangers park rangers face, worldwide documentary worldwide. So documentary filmmaker and conservationist Sean Wilmore made it his mission to bring real-life stories of the plight of park rangers into the public spotlight through the lens of the camera. The park ranger himself, Wilmore, spent nearly one full year interviewing rangers in 23 countries, uncovering and recording inspirational stories of service and sacrifice for the documentary film, The Thin Green Line. You can watch this documentary film to get insights into various aspects of these forest rangers. Since its premiere in 2007, the Thin Green Line has been viewed by people in over 50 countries, restoring dignity, pride, and hope to park rangers, forest rangers across the world. The documentary provides a rare glimpse into the daily lives of park rangers, sharing their sacrifices they and their families make amid common risks that they take every day. The film became the catalyst for Ranger Wilmore to establish the Thin Green Line Foundation, now the official charity arm of the International Rangers Federation, or IRF, founded in 1990. Together, the two organizations work to provide support and assistance for the families of rangers who have died or been injured in the line of duty, not like not unlike the organizations that support the families of fallen police officers and firefighters. So the Thin Green Line Foundation and the International Rangers Federation joined forces in 2007 to celebrate the first World Ranger Day in recognition of the 15th anniversary of the founding of the International Rangers Foundation. World Ranger Day draws attention to the men and women who have dedicated their lives to protecting and preserving our parks, forests, and preserves, and honors the fallen rangers who lost their lives while serving. Well-known primatologist, anthropologist, and conservationist Dr. Jane Goodall became the ambassador for the Thin Green Line Foundation in 2011. Dr. Goodall promotes World Ranger Day vigorously to draw attention to the vital role park rangers play in protecting and preserving our planet's natural resources and wildlife. Park rangers serve as law enforcement officers, environmentalists, cultural historians, and sometimes all three of these roles. Regardless of their primary role, all rangers are first line of defense in protecting wildlife, natural resources, and ecosystems within the national, state, and local parks while ensuring the safety of the park visitors. Rangers live, work, and sometimes literally die while risking their lives to protect wildlife habitats from poachers and other human threats like wildfires caused by careless behavior. On any given day, a ranger may be required to confiscate firearms, intercept poachers and smugglers, suppress wildfires, prevent illegal grazing of livestock on federal lands, and stop thefts of timber and cultural objects of historical significance. Rangers are always the first responders who perform dangerous and daring rescues by land, sea, or air when park visitors are lost, trapped, or injured. In fact, non-profit groups report that during the past 10 years, over 1,000 park rangers have been killed in the line of duty. Rangers are missing in the link. Rangers are the missing link in conservation. That's why we do everything we can support to the Green Line Foundation, as quoted by Dr. Jane Goodall. So Yosemite National Park is designated as a national park by President Ulysses S. Grant, which is the first official national park opens in 1872. US Army troops serve as rangers. The US Army becomes the official administrator of Yosemite and Secure National Parks in 1891. The International Rangers Foundation, IRF, is founded in 1992, which is a milestone for the rangers. The documentary, The Thin Green Line, is released in 2007, which portrays the rangers' life and activities. Rangers are employed by municipal parks, department, state park systems, or the National Park Service here, and to serve in a variety of roles. While not all rangers are law enforcement officers, the primary duty of all rangers is to protect and preserve the park and its guests. Some rangers train specifically to serve as law enforcement rangers and have the same powers and duties as city, country, and state law enforcement officers, including making arrests and writing citations. Park rangers perform a wide range of duties depending on the park where they are employed and the specific roles for which they are trained and qualified. Enforcing park regulations and rules is a primary duty of all rangers. Rangers often spend a significant amount of time interacting with park visitors as intermediaries between nature and humans. Rangers who are environmental experts or historians give group tours and make presentations for visitor programs, explaining the cultural or historic points of interest within the park they serve. So not all park rangers work in parks. Some are assigned to duties as at historic battlefields and trails, natural monuments, and other sites of state or federal historical significance. National Park Service rangers can be found at national seashores and rivers. It is a great honor to be assigned to be served on the grounds surrounding the White House in Washington, D.C. in US. And to pause today for a moment of reflection, thought, or prayer in remembrance of more than 1,000 park rangers who have died in the line of duty since 2009. Encourage others to learn about and pay tribute to these fallen heroes, unsung social media posts, and special World Ranger Day resources available online from the Thin Line Foundation and the International Ranger Federation websites and social media accounts. The names of the fallen rangers are also available on the foundation websites. It's never too late to take the National Park Ranger Pledge to explore, learn, and protect our national parks. As a junior ranger, just ask Rose Torfey. Rose became a Grand Canyon Junior Ranger in 2019 at the age of 103. World Ranger Day is the perfect day for you to take a pledge and live the dream of yourself. Although the activity program is specifically oriented towards youth aged between 5 and 13, anyone can participate. Most national parks offer young visitors the opportunity to become junior rangers. Each junior ranger takes an oath to protect and learn about parks and share their own ranger with friends and families. And World Ranger Day is a good day to visit a park or a forest and thank the rangers who make it possible for us to safely enjoy our national parks. While you are there, ask how your family, temple, school, or civic group can actually participate in the special events and projects throughout the year. Rangers can make physical arrests for misdemeanors or felonies. Rangers often conduct criminal investigations. Rangers are also allowed to confiscate firearms. Rangers regularly apprehend poachers and smugglers as interceptors. Rangers often perform land, water, and air search and rescue missions. From 2009 to 2020, more than 1,000 rangers died in the line of duty. World Ranger Day reminds us to never take park rangers for granted, as we consider the selfless sacrifices these courageous men and women make every day. World Ranger Day raises awareness of the amazing contributions rangers make every day. Who among us is not inspired to be better caretakers of the earth by the selfless sacrifices of these guardians of our parks and forests? World Ranger Day activities and educational programs encourage young people to consider careers as park and forest rangers. Reaching them, these future custodians of our planet's natural resources, today is vital for the continued preservation of our natural state park and forest treasuries in the future. The Thin Green Line Foundation is a global not-for-profit organization that provides support to rangers because rangers are the frontline professionals protecting wildlife and natural world. They do this by providing effective training, vital equipment, and emergency support to the rangers and their families, and developing strong global networks for rangers and their communities. Let's watch a short video to witness.
Hello, this is Jane Goodall. At the Thin Green Line Foundation, we stand with rangers. Rangers are nature's protectors and first responders, brave and dedicated men and women who work tirelessly to protect nature from those who seek to exploit it. Whilst protecting wildlife, rangers often work in the most remote regions on Earth, from mountain tops to oceans, open plains to dense jungles. They face extreme challenges that pose a direct threat to their safety and their lives. There is the ever-present danger from armed poachers, the illegal wildlife trade, and from the very animals they're working to protect. Over 120 rangers lose their lives each year. Thankfully, these deaths can be prevented through critical training and essential equipment that we can provide. But we can't do it alone. Together, we ask you to stand with rangers on the Thin Green Line, a line that stands for courage, bravery, and sacrifice, a line that stands for nature, and a line that works to secure our shared future. You can help to save the lives of rangers and strengthen their communities, or provide the widows and children of fallen rangers with an income, schooling, and the hope for a brighter tomorrow. By supporting rangers, They can continue working to protect our fragile biodiversity and the risk of extinction, minimize and manage the impacts of climate change, prevent the spread of zoonotic diseases from the wildlife trade, and preserve indigenous cultural knowledge and the sacred sites for future generations. Now is the time to act to save our natural world. Give today to protect tomorrow. Will you join us on the Thin Green Line? Visit thingreenline.org.au to find out more.
Firefighters, teachers, police officers, first responders, all are professions worthy of support and honor. We invest in them for our collective health and safety. Rangers are tasked with the same duties, and they're responsible for safeguarding the systems upon which our entire planet depends. We need to invest in Rangers like we do other frontline professionals. The Universal Ranger Support Alliance is bringing together an international coalition of conservation organizations to advocate for a global ranger action plan. It will help all rangers, ensuring that urgently needed tools, reforms, and policy changes reach them. Invest in rangers to protect natural resources, to help grow sustainable national economies, to strengthen communities, to ensure equality and equity in the ranger sector, and to secure the health of our planet. If we invest in rangers, the economic outcomes would be dramatic. The global GDP could rise by $490 billion per year. In 2018, the travel and tourism sector supported 319 million jobs, 10% of total employment, and generated 10.4% of global GDP. Rangers directly support tourism, protecting habitats, teaching park visitors, monitoring species, and responding to emergencies in remote areas. Rangers protect the places that give us clean air, water, food, fertile soil, medicines, and a stable climate. The ranger profession needs to be recognized by the International Labor Organization as an occupation. Rangers are working together to facilitate sufficient training, social safeguards, appropriate equipment, and a guarantee that their teams will have adequate staff to do their work safely and effectively. Professionalize and support rangers, and the return on investment will be high. It now falls on governments, other ranger employers, and their partners to answer the call. Join the global Rangers Deserve More movement. Rangers work in tough environments, dealing with complex social and ecological problems. 69% of rangers surveyed say their jobs are more difficult than most in their country. Only 50% of rangers report that they have adequate supplies or uniforms. Many work with few basic necessities. Nearly 50% do not have clean drinking water. And 60% work without any running water at all. Even though rangers have dangerous jobs, not all of them have safety nets. Nearly 45% do not have access to insurance or compensation for a job-related disease, injury, or death. In the last year, close to 60% of rangers contracted malaria, dengue, or other serious diseases. In the last 10 years, 1,175 rangers have died on the job, although the actual number is likely higher. Almost 45% of those deaths were homicides, due to encounters with poachers, loggers, or miners. 34% of rangers say they need better training. Despite putting themselves at risk daily, rangers earn less than other frontline workers like police officers and firefighters. And yet their accomplishments are astounding. Thanks to rangers, gorilla numbers in the Virunga Mountains have increased 17% in the past 14 years. In Indonesia, 13,000 trees were planted in a reforestation project between rangers and local people. In Australia, Indigenous ranger programs are empowering communities and supporting a new generation of wildlife leaders. Rangers fight for these global success stories to prevail. Imagine what rangers could do with more. Rangers deserve appropriate and reliable working conditions. Rangers deserve the training and standards awarded to other frontline professionals. Rangers deserve adequate pay and benefits. Rangers deserve government support and accountability. Rangers deserve to be treated like the heroes of the planet they are. Join us in this international call. Rangers deserve more. Rangers are the guardians of our planet. Together they protect 15% of all land surfaces and 7% of all seas, over 47 million square kilometers combined. They are critical to our economies. A global estimate suggests that ecosystem services like clean water and protection from storms provide between $125 and $140 trillion of benefits per year, more than 1.5 times the size of global GDP. Tourists eager to see wildlife make 12 million trips each year, and wildlife tourism is growing at a rate of about 10% annually. None of this would be possible without rangers. Rangers work tirelessly to stop the illegal trade and poaching of protected plant species and of wild animals that people travel the world to see, like elephants, rhinos, primates, and tigers. And rangers help people peacefully coexist with wildlife, monitoring problem animals and relocating them when necessary, reducing crop raiding, livestock loss, and human injuries. Rangers protect rapidly disappearing habitats like forests, tundra, marshes, and coral reefs, securing our planet's carbon storage systems. Rangers work with communities to keep oceans healthy and manage sustainable fisheries. They oversee hunting permits, support indigenous peoples' cultural fortitude and ancestral domains, and help promote environmentally friendly farming techniques, increasing community resilience and health. Rangers play a critical role in preventing pandemics at their source. Rangers stop illegal wildlife crimes and prevent wildlife diseases like SARS, Ebola, and COVID from spilling over into human populations. From promoting ecological stability to enhancing food security to protecting water sources, Rangers are helping save our planet and humankind. Can you visualize the impact of a ranger? Imagine a ripple effect. Rangers protect the local environment, improving the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat, ultimately saving species, generating tourism, and advancing livelihoods. They are law enforcement officers, arresting violators, removing snares, and managing wildlife. They patrol on land and sea, through extreme weather and tough terrain. In the face of wildfires, they put their lives on the line to save species, habitats, and our homes. They teach our children about ecology and conservation. They support local communities, helping families access clean water, build predator-proof fencing, and practice sustainable farming. Rangers provide information to tourists, immersing visitors in nature and history. They collect valuable data to study endangered species and enhance scientific research. They provide first aid, respond to search and rescue emergencies, and save and rehabilitate injured animals. Alongside indigenous leaders, they preserve cultural and historical places and address community needs. Rangers provide an early warning system for natural and human-induced threats, like predators and disease. Rangers turn our conservation hopes into real change, and they need the support of decision and policymakers to do it. A healthy future for all of us depends on rangers. These wildlife experts are constantly working behind the scenes. Their service today shapes our future tomorrow. These unsung heroes are our planet's greatest guardians. Support rangers, improve their impact, and you improve the well-being of us all. Picture a wildlife ranger. It's likely no two people will imagine the same thing, as there is no one definition or job description of a ranger. Their profession is little understood, yet these brave conservation professionals are the backbone of global biodiversity management and protection, making them indispensable to the very essence of life on Earth. They are called wildlife wardens, forest guards, scouts, and watchers. They come from small villages and big cities. Rangers are diverse in ethnicity and gender. They work in government positions and private roles. They are indigenous peoples and multicultural guardians. They are found in urban parks, local communities, and remote areas, protecting our lands, freshwater ecosystems, and oceans. Rangers are vital to communities, countries, and our future, protecting our planet and ensuring that every person has access to wild spaces and global resources. Given their essential roles in preserving biodiversity through the protection of valuable life support systems and ecosystem services, the ranger sector should be well-staffed and rangers well-respected and acknowledged. More than 7,000 rangers from 465 sites across 28 countries have shared their successes, their challenges, and they've told the world what they need. They need your support for more resources. If we work together to remove obstacles and dismantle inequities, to ensure that natural resources are adequately protected for those that depend on them, we will greatly improve the overall impact of rangers. Our world needs them, and they need allies and advocates. We must prioritize and value rangers so they receive the honor and recognition they deserve. Support rangers, support our planet, and join the global Rangers Deserve More movement.
Good news! The planet has an agreed goal to effectively conserve 30% of the planet by 2030, known as 30 by 30. Nice! But hold on, how do we get there? Effective conservation is a job that already exists. Rangers. Rangers deeply understand biodiversity and work tirelessly to conserve it. Rangers can deliver 30 by 30, but they need us to recognize and support them. Today, there are only 285,000 rangers protecting our planet. But we need 1.5 million trained and equipped rangers to achieve the goal. 30 by 30 by 1.5 million rangers. Share and be part of the solution.
On behalf of the International Ranger Federation, I'd like to wish everyone a happy World Ranger Day. 2023 is an important year as we see it's the first year of the implementation of the newly set global biodiversity frameworks. There's a whole lot of targets that were set, but specifically there's target 3, which focuses on the 30 by 30 targets. Very importantly in that target, it says that we require 30% of effectively conserved areas. And that is very, very important, as effectively conserved areas can only happen with the support of rangers. That is why that we have chosen this theme for this year's World Ranger Day, that we bring the attention to the world that if we want to achieve any of these targets and achieve for the first time biodiversity targets globally, we need to invest in the ranger workforce. We need a professional ranger workforce where we address all the issues that challenge rangers around the world. We also need to be cognizant of the fact that there's a shortage of rangers. Currently 286,000 rangers around the world. If we are to get 30% effectively conserved by 2030, we are going to require at least 1.5 million rangers around the world. So there's a lot of work to be done. And that's what the IRF has been doing, is working towards growing the initiatives around investment into the ranger workforce and identifying and telling the stories as to why it's so important to value the work that rangers do around the world. And not just for biodiversity or for climate change reasons, but it's very important for people. It's for social security because of the ecological services that are provided. It's important for economies as well. It also help us address a number of the SDGs that were set many, many years ago as well. Unfortunately, this year we report on 148 rangers that passed away in the line of duty. Again, we see an unacceptable amount of homicides in the ranger workforce. There were 32% of the ranger deaths this year attributed to homicides. Also, interestingly and unfortunately, there was a total of 24% of ranger deaths attributed to vehicle accidents. And that is something that we can surely address and improve on going forward. Asia, unfortunately, sees the most number of rangers dying per year again, closely followed by Africa with 65 rangers. These ranger deaths, and particularly homicides, are critical to understand that we need government interventions to address a lot of the threats that are resulting in the homicides of rangers. I also just want to pay tribute finally to Gordon Miller. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be celebrating this day. In 1991, him and others met and set out the plan for the development and establishment of the International Ranger Federation, which was established on the 31st of July in 1992. We thank Gordon for his vision and his absolute commitment to the global ranger sector. Gordon was at every World Ranger Congress, and he loved rangers. And it's up to us now to carry the baton going forward, to drive his mission further and really professionalize the ranger workforce and being inclusive within that. So finally, on behalf of the International Ranger Federation, I'd like to thank all rangers for their exceptional work in the past year. We hope you stay safe, and we look forward to seeing and hearing all about the celebrations that you have on World Ranger Day. Thank you.
I am a ranger.
I work within Mount Kenya ecosystem.
Mi nombre es Alfonso y soy agente medioambiental de la Junta de Castilla y León.
ನಾನು ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ನಾಗರಹೊಳೆ ಹುಲಿ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಿತ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ವಲಯ ಅರಣ್ಯಾಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ.
I'm the senior park warden and park manager of the Exhibit Keys Land and Sea Park.
I work in the forest. I am from Fundundu, Zimbabwe.
I work in the Lee Valley Regional Park.
I protect the wildlife, the natural heritage, and its inhabitants in Wadiuraya National Park.
I work in Pakistan National Park.
I protect the flora and fauna within Victoria.
I protect wildlands.
I protect wildlife.
I protect marine life.
I am a guide.
I'm an emergency responder.
I am a healthcare provider.
I am a teacher.
I am a guardian.
And I'm being asked to protect
30% of the world's land and oceans.
The International Ranger Federation was founded on 31st July 1992 in the Peak District National Park in the UK. An agreement was signed between the Countryside Management Association, representing rangers in England and Wales, the Scottish Countryside Rangers Association, and the US Association of National Park Rangers. The goals of the original agreement were to provide a global forum for rangers around the world to share their success and best practices in protecting the world's natural, historic, and cultural heritage, to promote the exchange of information and technology from countries in which protected area management enjoys broad public and government support to countries in which it is less supported. On 22nd May 2020, the IRF became a company registered in Australia. The company mission is to develop, advance, and promote throughout the world community the ranger profession and its critical role in conservation of natural and cultural resources. The company is a federation of ranger associations. The objects for which company is established and maintained are to IRF objectives are set out in the company's constitution. Further, the professional standards of the rangers throughout the world, including facilitating training for the rangers through a variety of forums for communication, sharing, and learning, promote and support rangers throughout the world and create a global network of rangers, develop and disseminate example of best practice and lessons learned in the ranger work to all who will benefit, encourage and assist with the establishment of ranger associations in countries not currently associated with the company, both to increase the representational capacity of the company, but also to nurture the common bond of rangers throughout the world, advance the arms of the rangers through collaborative partnerships with appropriate organizations, establish global communications among ranger organizations and conservation organizations, foster professional exchanges among rangers and twinning agreements between member associations, arrange and conduct full international meetings to discuss, promote, and support the work of rangers, undertake joint activities to directly support each other's operations where necessary and feasible, collaborating with third parties to further the mission and the vision of the company, promote world community awareness and understand of the role, values, and benefits of the rangers in the conservation of natural and cultural resources, and undertake and do all such things or activities which are necessary, incidental, or conducive to the advancement of these objects. Nature is invaluable, supporting all life on earth, providing our food and clean water, mitigating the impacts of climate change, and regulating the environments we live in. But nature is under severe pressure globally. Rangers act as a plenary frontline workers, protecting our natural and cultural heritage for the benefit of everyone. The Universal Ranger Support Alliance was launched in July 2020 as a coalition of conservation organizations supporting and promoting the International Ranger Federation to build a network of well-supported professional and capable rangers who can act effectively as custodians of the natural world. We help them advocate for the creation of inclusive and effective teams at the forefront of protecting nature, people, and the planet. Our time-bound support prioritizes recognition and resources and representation for rangers around the world. By 2025, there is a global enabling environment providing a unified voice for rangers and standards for capacity, employment, equality, and conduct to build a demonstrably professional, accountable, and competent ranger workforce whose contributions are formally recognized and respected. Achieving it will require many like-minded actors to pull together at a global scale to support rangers to perform their critical roles. URSA is inviting partners to join the alliance and support rangers. This week is also commemorated as National Moth Week, which is celebrated for the 12th time. This week is 12th annual National Moth Week from July 22 to 30, 2023. It celebrates the beauty, life cycles, and habitats of moths. Mothers of all ages and abilities are encouraged to learn about, observe, and document moths in their backyards, parks, and neighborhoods. National Moth Week is being held worldwide during the last full week of July. NMW offers everyone, everywhere, a unique opportunity to become a citizen scientist and contribute to the scientific data about moths. Through partnerships with major online biological data depositories, NMW participants can help map moth distribution and provide needed information on other life history aspects around the globe. Observing moths is very easy. You don't even have to actively look for them. By using two simple methods to attract moths, all you have to do is wait for them to come to you. Moths are attracted to light, and no one really knows why, although there are a number of theories. And also the smell of fermented sugar and ripe fruit, both food sources. Light setup, just you can see, even in our homes, if you switch on the light, there are a lot of moths of different sizes flying around. So all types of light will attract moths. Just leave a porch light on and wait and see what is attracted to it. If you are in the field or forest, you can use battery-operated lights or even a flashlight. Entomologists use black lights and mercury vapor lights, which emit light in a color spectrum that moths find irresistible. These types of lights can be ordered online at relatively low cost. Moths need a surface to rest on. White sheets are often used. Hang a white sheet over clothes line or between the two trees and shine the light on it. An outside wall also works well if your light is set up near a house or a building. Wait for moths to come to your light so that you can observe and photograph them. Especially lights and light traps can be purchased from entomological equipment suppliers. And mercury vapor and backlights can be purchased from hardware stores or even can be ordered online. Backlights can also be found in party stores. Moths can smell food from a distance. When provided with fermented sugar and fruit, they will fly right to it. This method of attracting moth is simply called sugaring. Make moth food a mix of sugar, fruit. It may be any fruit like banana, peach, or other overripe fruit. And sometimes beer will also work. Or try experimenting your own recipe. Brush the mix on the tree trunks an hour before the dust. Check every 30 minutes to see what's coming to the bait. Invite your family and friends to join for the mothing party. Enjoy moth-inspired food. Watch the old flick Mothra. But remember, moths aren't really scary. And telling mothing stories. If you are mothing with children, check out various activities and ideas for kids. You can make your own. Moths that fly at night or settle down during the day in some hidden places. Keep an eye out for the amazing spring months, many flees during the day. You can see especially rainy season is a very good season. Photographs the moths you see. To learn how to photograph moths, you can take some tutorials to social media or National Moth Week Flickr group and share your stories, recipes for moth-inspired foods, games, whatever activities you have done. So this is a fun way and also a scientific research activity that will help us in studying and promoting this Moth National Week. Today is also commemorated as Hawaii Flag Day, which is celebrated on July 31st every year. A day dedicated to learning about and appreciating the Hawaiian flag or Hawaiian language. Ka He Hawaii is a flag endowed with a rich historical background. Its design follows more than a century-old strive for inclusiveness. Today is also commemorated as International Lifeguard Appreciation Day. We'll resume in a minute. Today is also commemorated as International Lifeguard Appreciation Day, internationally celebrated on July 31st annually. It is a day for honoring and appreciating those professionals who are saddled with the responsibility of making sure that the pool facilities and beaches are safe for visitors and ensuring that they too are guarded while they enjoy a swim. Lifeguards diligently dedicate not only their time, but lives to enable a safe environment for swimmers. They instruct and keep a constant watch on guests to prevent injury and rescue them from life-threatening accidents. Do you know that about 10,000 people are rescued from drowning yearly by lifeguards? The first celebration of the International Lifeguard Appreciation Day was in 2020. Ellis and Associates, an organization that focuses on aquatic safety and risk management, founded the day on July 31st, 2020 to increase appreciation and awareness about the relentless efforts of lifeguards in making pool facilities safe for its users. The lifeguard profession became a necessity as a result of increasing deaths and injuries recorded in aquatic facilities more than a century ago. Swimming became popular in 19th century America, where recreational facilities sprung up everywhere. But more they opened, the more drowning incidents took place in those facilities. Around 9,000 people reportedly drowned yearly. To curtail these incidents, resorts installed lifelines in their pools, but unfortunately, they were either too difficult to grab by users or not seen quickly enough. Although a rescue board was installed thereafter, it still didn't adequately serve its purpose. As efforts to reduce the frequency of drowning increased, some communities employed police officers to serve as rescue teams at aquatic facilities. This measure, however, brought a decline in the number of law enforcement agents being present where needed. Subsequently, local governments decided to hire experts trained in water resources and rescues. The word lifeguard eventually became associated with these men, and in 1912, the Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA, organized a life-saving service to prevent drowning incidences. 2 years later, in 1914, the American Red Cross Volunteer Life-Saving Corps was founded to train swimmers in saving lives and giving cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR. The trained swimmers were deployed to the local communities to serve as lifeguards. Devices were also developed to help save drowning victims. An example of this is the famous rescue tube invented by Pete Peterson in 1935. Today, almost all recreational facilities and beaches employ the services of various lifeguards who collectively work to bring the levels of drowning incidents down to the bare minimum. Captain Henry Sheffield invents the rescue can, a procedure of the rescue buoy. In 1897, the YMCA organizes life-saving services. In 1912, the American Red Cross Volunteer Life Saving Corps is established to train swimmers and life-saving and CPR. In 1914, Duke Kanmoku rescues over 10 people from drowning using only his surfboard. In 1925, the rescue tube, popularly known as Peterson tube, is designed by Pete Peterson and was invented in 1935. Mouth-to-mouth breathing is adopted. The technique is adopted to save drowning victims in 1950. International Lifeguard Appreciation Day is first organized by Ellis and Associates in 2020. So the first and most important thing required for an intending lifeguard is to be highly skilled at swimming. Additionally, a lifeguard should be someone who is always alert and highly proactive. he or she should be trained in first aid. Lifeguards are commonly seen in swimsuits that might be branded with a sign indicating their profession. They may wear shorts, t-shirts, sweatpants, etc. Reports have repeatedly shown that lifeguards acquire quite a fortune in Los Angeles. The overtime tips some of them receive amounts to thousands of dollars. So celebrate this day by verbally expressing how grateful you are to any lifeguard you know at aquatic facilities or beaches or swimming pools. They will appreciate it. Another way to mark the day is to give gifts to the lifeguards. There is a great way to show how much you appreciate them. Organize party, maybe throwing a mini party for the lifeguards, you know. Ask them to come along with their colleagues. If you cannot afford, you can also throw a tea party. Drowning happens so quickly that by the time a potential rescuer gets to the victim, it's too late. So it's fast and silent. Drowning is the third leading cause of unintentional deaths in the world, the leading cause of unintentional deaths. An estimated 3 lakhs deaths are caused by drowning around the world annually. It causes hundreds of thousands of deaths. We have recently commemorated World Drowning Prevention Day. Children aged 1 to 9 and male adults are most at risk of drowning. Everyone is susceptible to drowning, regardless of gender or age. All professions need to be appreciated. However, honorable ones like the lifeguard profession deserve to be celebrated and worth appreciating. People tend to do more in their jobs when they are appreciated. International Lifeguard Appreciation Day encourages lifeguards to put their all into their profession and lift lifeguard spirits. The day makes it possible for lifeguards and guests at aquatic facilities or beaches to become friends. We think that's really special and it creates relationships. Today is also commemorated as Uncommon Instrument Awareness Day in US. It's the time for music appreciation only of the less common variety on Uncommon Instrument Awareness Day. This day is a reminder to music lovers that there are many special and uncommon instruments just waiting to be discovered. This unusual holiday encourages everyone to learn about and try a new unusual musical instrument. Since as far back as we can tell, societies have always considered music to be integral to their culture. The history of uncommon instruments is, in fact, the history of musical instruments in general. So today we focus on history of various now uncommon musical instruments. Statues in ancient Cyprus show people playing the lyre. The British Museum exhibits one such statue of woman playing the lyre. Her dress and style indicate she was a member of the upper class. The ancient Cyprians also used animal-shaped rattles that might have been used to keep a beat, scare off evil spirits, or as a toy for young children. The ancient Romans invented an instrument they are called hydraulis, which worked when water pressure from a tank forced air up into the keys and pipes. While playing this instrument, they needed multiple assistants to work the pumps that kept water pressure high. Ancient Greeks were also famous for their musical celebrations. Each event, birth, death, work, or even illness, would be accompanied by music. They used an instrument called auloi, which was a pipe made of wood, bone, or metal. Blowing into the reed inserted at the end of this instrument would produce sound. On the other side of the continent in Asia, Buddhists used trumpets made of different items like conch shells to call monks to services. The ancient Egyptians too had their own special musical instruments like the harp. Examples of this are shown in scenes covering the walls of tombs. These scenes show how people plucking two strings at a time, and they are accompanied by instruments that resemble lutes and oboes. By the 12th century, many more musical instruments were invented, including a medieval instrument that resembled a guitar called the cytole. The instrument is actually the precursor to the violin, have been converted at some point during the 16th century. Over the years, new, amazing, and uncommon inventions have increased the expansive variety of musical instruments. By the 19th century, electric instruments came around, and along this another unique invention. The Soviet government has sponsored research into proximity sensors. A researcher on team accidentally invented an electric instrument that can be played without being touched. While not a commercial success initially, it has since been used in film scores, on television, and occasionally in pop and rock music. So we can trace the history of uncommon instruments around the world, but we are still unsure about who created this special day. All we know is they wish to spotlight the unusual and unique musical instruments. So one of the rarest musical instruments in the world, the hydrolophone, produces sounds using vibrations from flowing water. While not uncommon as instruments, the tuba, French horn, and bassoon are the least common musical instruments played by the people. The most commonly played musical instrument is the piano. Almost 21 million Americans play it. This is followed by guitar and then the violin and the drums. So learn about them. There are so many rare and experimental musical instruments in the world, in every country, nation, locally, regionally, or in your locality. Learn about as many as you can. Try to play them. Then pick up your favorite and see if you can find one for sale or rent. See if musical or art centers around you stock some uncommon instruments, and ask if you can learn to play them, listen to them. If you cannot get your hands on the instrument of your choice, the best thing would be to check out videos of these instruments being played online. If you want to hear what some uncommon instrument sounds like, check out songs like South Country, Age of Indulgence, or Living Breathing Earth by composer Meira Warsher. These certainly fall under the banner of uncommon. Explore your creative side by making your own musical instrument, build a guitar from cigar box, or create an instrument using vegetables. Yes, vegetables, carrot, celery, peppers, squash, zucchini, or other raw veggies are all used to make music. Use the crunchy peel, the thick skin, or combine more than one vegetable for fun sounds. If it doesn't work out, you can always turn this into a dinner. You can check out fun do-it-yourself tutorials online for various ideas, or talk to some musicians for their input. Get the family involved and turn this into a musical day. Embrace your inner couch potato for a day and settle in to watch shows and movies that celebrate music. Search hard and long enough and you might find an uncommon musical instrument. Like the Amazon Prime series, Mozart in the Jungle, which centers around the lives of musicians in the New York Symphony Orchestra and boasts an oboe player as one of the main leads. There is a special piano that was specifically designed to play out sound effects during silent movies in the 19th century, the American photo player. Used mainly in Jewish celebrations of Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur, this instrument, the shofar, is made from a ram's horn. Developed sometime in the past 100 years by the Aboriginal peoples of Northern Australia, this instrument is easy to learn. As studies show, it strengthens health too. A wind instrument called didgeridoo. The Western African hand drum is rare, fun, and is again easy to learn. The djembe, the only instrument of the world that uses a crank to turn a wheel, which in turn rubs strings together to make a music. It is made of. It made a brief appearance in the Polar Express, which was released in 2014. The hurdy-gurdy or wheel fiddle. So everyone needs their day in the sun. We think same principle applies to musical instruments too. Popular instruments get a lot of love and lot of mentions. It's time for the spotlight to shine on lesser used and unique instruments. Music lovers can rejoice. The day shows them the music of all forms and from different instruments is recognized and celebrated. Plus, people are motivated to make their contribution to the world of music and maybe invent their own unique instrument. It takes an immense amount of imagination and a little bit of luck to create a musical instrument, whether common or uncommon. On a day like this, we get a chance to celebrate every single uncommon instrument and honor its creations. Today is also commemorated as National Shredded Wheat Day. So, which is an healthy breakfast cereal. Shredded wheat is one of the oldest cereals in the world. It is made from whole wheat and baked into pillow-shaped biscuits. Some manufacturers have developed different varieties of shredded wheat that include blueberry, raspberry, cherry, cranberry flavors. Shredded wheat is rich in vitamins and contains a high amount of fiber that helps to prevent heart diseases and type 2 diabetes. Shredded wheat have been around for a century. It was invented by Henry D. Perky in Denver, Colorado. He came up with this idea in 1892 when, on the advice of his doctor, Perky began to eat whole boiled wheat and vegetables as a dietary cure for the diarrhea he experienced in 1890. He continued to consume the boiled wheat until he observed another diarrhea patient blending whole wheat with milk in 1892. The event inspired Perky to take boiled wheat produce to his machinist friend, William H. Ford, who helped to build a machine that shredded boiled wheat and weaved into pillow-shaped biscuits. Perky didn't give as much as importance to the biscuits as he did the machine. He began to sell the biscuits to vegetarian restaurants to create awareness until the popularity of the biscuits eclipsed that of machine. In 1893, Perky established a shredded wheat producing company, the Boston Shredded Cereal Food Company, alongside with his cereal machine company. Due to energy expenses, the company was moved to Niagara Falls, New York, where hydroelectric power was more affordable. A series of acquisitions occurred after Perky's death in the early 20th century. In 1928, the company was acquired by the National Biscuit Company, and in 1993, Nabisco sold the shredded wheat brand to Kraft General Foods. Since then, the shredded wheat brand has been marketed by Post, a subsidiary of Kraft Foods. The earlier known celebration of shredded wheat took place on the centenary of the cereal's invention in 1992. Although no official day was declared to celebrate the whole grain in succeeding years, the occasion held in Niagara Falls may be heralded the observation of Shredded Wheat Day. When one suffers from constipation, eating foods with a high fiber content helps to empty the stomach. Shredded wheat is a high fiber food, so one can relieve constipation. Simply look at the recipe online and use what cooking skills you have to make your own version of favorite cereal at home. Although it dates back to 19th century, shredded wheat was not the first cereal. About 4 other cereals already existed before 1892, the year shredded wheat was invented. Here, the benefits of shredded wheat. Start by listing the rich nutrients that cereal provides. Continue to tell people how each of these benefits the body. Cereals were invented in 1800s to tackle unhealthy eating habits. Granola was invented in the US by Dr. James G. Jackson in 1863. Cereals are one of the most important popular items sold in grocery stores after milk and carbonated beverages. England and Ireland are among the top consumers of cereals, followed by Australia and the US, and are more consumed in Europe. Over 800 billion pounds of sugar are used by the cereal industry annually. There is no need to diet if you eat healthy foods such as shredded wheat. It is also cheaper than having to pay for dietary prescriptions. For all those wary of consuming carcinogens, shredded wheat is made of 100% natural ingredients with no added sugar or salt. It is also free of chemical additives. Shredded wheat can be eaten different ways. It can be enjoyed with milk, mixed with fresh fruits or nuts. Today is also commemorated as National Raspberry Cake Day in US. This day recognizes the refreshing dessert that is summer favorite for many. Raspberries infuse this cake with a unique flavor, elevating it to another level entirely. The raspberry grows in all temperate zones of the world and was the only a midsummer crop. However, as everything advances in technology have allowed this berry to be produced all year long. The freshest, juiciest berries are harvested from July to September. However, making July the perfect month to celebrate National Raspberry Cake Day. Fresh raspberries last for a few years, and if stored in fridge, they can last for around 2 to 3 days. Raspberries are made of little droplets or units, and each can be considered a separate fruit. Raspberries come in red, purple, gold, or black. The golden ones are the sweetest and colorful. The flapping noise you make with the lips is also called blowing a raspberry. This term might have originated from the Cockney dialect of England. An old French word, raspis, meaning sweet rose-colored wine, seems to have inspired by the raspberry's name. Raspberries are crossed with many fruits. Raspberries and blackberries are crossed to create loganberry. A cross between red raspberries, blackberries, and loganberries creates bosenberries. As in the case with many berries, raspberries too are chock full of nutritional benefits. They contain loads of vitamin C, minerals like manganese and fiber. While the boysenberry and the nestberry, a cross between a liveberry, raspberry, and blackberry, might not technically be the same fruit. They are taken from the raspberry plus. Whoever says no tasting new berries. Today is also celebrated as National Mutt Day in US. Dogs are special, and these are orders of national and international commemorations and holidays prove it. But unlike most of our doggy days, National Mud Day focuses on the mixed breed dogs who sometimes get overlooked. So this day inspires people to learn more about adopting one, and it brings attention to many great mixed breed dogs in need of homes. In fact, the benefit from the spotlight so much that we celebrate mixed breed dogs not just once, but twice a year on both July 31st and December 2nd. Join us celebrating in all the mutts and mixed breeds that make our lives so great. Mutt is considered a derogatory term meaning stupid person in 1800s. The world's largest and oldest not-for-profit all-breed registry is founded, that is American Kennel Club, opens on September 17, 1884. Cartoon dog Muttley debuts in the show Dastardly and Muttley in their flying machines. On September 13, 1969, Mutts is a daily comic strip created by Patrick McDonald, Comic Mutt, on September 5th, 1994. There are lots of great dogs out there who lack a home just because they don't have a right pedigree. But you can do your part to change all that. Getting any dog is a big responsibility. But a mixed breed will likely to be healthier, happier, better behaved, and live longer than a purebred of the same age. Not in a position to adopt a mutt, you can also still help out your local shelters with a donation. Your money goes to the things like food, toys, and medicine. Every dollar counts, so you can really make a difference in the lives of all dogs at the shelter. If donations aren't your style, you can always volunteer. Shelters need volunteers to befriend the dogs, play with them, and take them for walks. A few hours of your time can make a big difference in their happiness, and happy dogs stand a better chance of getting adopted. Whether your dog is from a famous breeder or your local shelter, he or she loves you in the way that can't be expressed in words. Though mixed breed dogs aren't usually as highly regarded as their purebred cousins, they got lots of love in their hearts. And some people even argue that since most mutts weren't born on easy streets, they love us even more. And these dogs have hit genetic lottery. The blending of genes help fight deficiency by providing healthier gene sequences from other breeds. Think of its way, the smaller the gene pool, the less healthy the genes. Your mutt, on the other hand, has a sampling from all over, adding to the dog's overall lifespan and well-being. Often passed over for their pedigreed cousins, mixed breed dogs end up as a pet shelter more frequently, and they tend to wait longer before getting adopted. But mutts have all doggedness we love about dogs, and National Mud Dog Day is about getting them to the love and attention they deserve. Today is also commemorated as National Jump for Jelly Beans Day in US. Not only it's a day set aside to appreciate jelly beans, but it's also a day to jump for joy simply because they exist. Jelly beans have been around for more than a century in the US and have secured themselves position among the most consumed candies in the country. It's not only a candy loved by most Americans, but a candy that can even a one-time president described as his favorite. And so there's little wonder why it's so popular. So that's why two holidays were celebrated to commemorate it. Even though widely consumed in America, jelly beans are not an idea original to America. These candies have, however, taken precedence over the kinds of candies in the country, so much so that they were even sent up as a surprise to astronauts in space. The making of jelly beans was inspired by the Turkish confection known as Turkish Delight, which is a soft version of this hard candy. A huge variety of jelly beans exist where companies that produce the candy make them in different colors for both aesthetic and identification purposes. Additionally, a wide variety of flavors are added to the candy to offer consumers different tastes. Jelly beans are produced using a candy making process known as panning. Jelly beans can take about 1 to 3 weeks to be produced because of the panning process. The jelly beans producing company makes over 100 different flavors of jelly beans, ranging from fanciful to gross flavors. The amount of jelly beans consumed in a year is enough to circle the earth 5 times over. Jelly beans were the first candy to be sold by filling a bag and paying for it according to its weight. Jelly beans contain calories that your body needs for energy. Remember, though, that not burning enough calories off leads to weight gain. Whether to children or elderly, getting a cupful of jelly beans lifts one's spirit. You don't need to get a different candies for different tastes. Jelly beans have a variety of flavors for you to enjoy. But be cautious, overconsumption can also lead to various health issues. Today is also commemorated as National Avocado Day in US. The avocado is a food without rival among the fruits, the veritable fruit of paradise. So said early 20th century adventurer and US Department of Agriculture botanist David Fairchild when he introduced the Georgia's fruits to the US, and he was right. Avocados are creamy, delicious, vitamin-heavy symbols of nature, offering us good life at a bargain price, all plus their versatile value for your body, both inside and out, make avocados well worth celebrating. On every year, July 31st, as National Avocado Day. Archaeologists have found evidence that wild avocados were gathered and eaten in central Mexico. Researchers believe that Mesoamerican tribes like the Inca and the Olmec and the Maya grew domesticated avocado trees. Naturalist Sir Hans Sloane names the avocado or alligator pear tree in his catalogue of Jamaican plants in 1696. Horticulturist Henry Perney first plants avocados in Florida in 1833. Avocados became commercially available in the US, with people mostly adding them to salads into the mainstream in 1950s. Mashed avocado with banana and olive oil makes a hair conditioning paste. Mash it up with some olive oil, honey, and yogurt. You can have an ideal facial mask. Dry the pit and grind it up with some avocado flesh and salt to create an exfoliating foot scrub. Treat yourself. Just clean off the huge seed, pierce it with 3 toothpicks, and submerge it right side in a glass of water. In about 8 weeks, it will start to sprout, and when your avocado tree is 6 inches long, you can plant it in the soil. Just be sure to keep it on a sunny windowsill. They love that natural light. There are around 1,062 varieties of avocado. In Jamaica, avocados were once called alligator pears. Because it is a fleshy fruit produced from a single ovary, and avocado is actually a berry. Football fans consume 53.5 million pounds of guacamole on Super Bowl Sundays. So avocados played a huge role in the health food revival in the US a generation ago, and for good reason. They packed with potassium to keep your blood pressure lower, oleic acid for reducing inflammation, fiber for your metabolism, and antioxidants that keep your eyes healthy. Fresh avocados have some ancient anti-aging secrets inside them. You can use both the luxurious, creamy flesh as well as the mineral-packed pit of avocado to condition your hair, moisturize your skin, remove your makeup, and treat your wrinkles. Avocados are nothing if not a culinary imagine booster. You can use them as a base for salad dressing, chilled soup, ice cream, pudding, pasta sauce, bread, and a lot more. Finally, today, the last commemoration, Martyrdom Day of Shahid Udham Singh in India, we are observing this as remembering the history of Jallianwala Bagh massacre and how the event changed the life of Shahid Udham Singh. He is a historical figure from the passages of Indian freedom struggle against colonial British rule. General Dyer was given the order to open fire on the crowd that had peacefully gathered to protest the arrest of pro-Indian independence leaders. Shahid Udham Singh assassinated Code Dwyer, and he was hanged for murder in 1940. The day is observed every year to pay homage to the brave freedom fighters. Freedom to exist is one of the basic human rights. Every society has fought for their freedom at least once. Political conquest made it difficult to live for those who are directly affected by them. India was one of the richest countries in the world, but the nation fell from its zenith height to the dark depths of the misery within a few years when the European colonization reached the subcontinent. The internal conflict between the states made it easy for the conquest of the nation. Such conquests always exact a heavy toll on human casualties. India under the rule of British was not economic powerhouse it used to be a few decades ago. Indians were not happy with this prospect, and the demand for freedom and self-governance became strong. When the demand for freedom is in the air, the efforts to suppress the demand will also increase. Jallianwala Bagh was a result of such an effort by the British. Reginald Dyer ordered soldiers to shoot at the peaceful crowd gathered around the Jallianwala Bagh to attend a religious festival and to protest the arrest of Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu and Dr. Satyapal. Soldiers obeyed the order and massacre followed. Hundreds of helpless civilians died, and the brutality of event caused ripples throughout the entire nation and even in Britain. The event became a cornerstone event for the freedom struggles of the nation against an empire where it was said the sun never sets. Shahid Udham was part of the crowd and he escaped death narrowly. The sight of the countrymen dying around him helplessly tormented him for the rest of the life. He made it the mission to kill those who were responsible for the entire event. And he succeeded in 1940 when he assassinated Michael O'Dwyer. The life of Udham Singh ended in the same year when he was hanged for the assassination. But his life is immortalized in the minds of Indians who looked for the retribution of the Amritsar event. He died with pride and fearlessness, and today we are celebrating his life and remembering the events that led him to his path. Udham Singh, an Indian revolutionary, is born in Sunam, Punjab on December 26, 1899. Reginald Dyer ordered soldiers to shoot at the peaceful crowd gathered around the Jallianwala Bagh. On April 13th, 1919, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Udham Singh was assassinated. Udham Singh assassinated Michael D. Dwyer for the massacre on March 13, 1940, and Central Criminal Court in Old Bailey orders to hang Udham Singh for murder on July 31st, 1940. Udham Singh considered Bhagat Singh a close friend and a teacher. Reginald Edward Harry Dyer was a British general in India. He is especially infamous for his role in the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in India in 1990. Udham Singh was originally named Sher Singh after his birth in 1899. Udham Singh is an important historical figure in the Indian freedom struggle. So take this opportunity to read about his life and his mission. There are few movies with the life of Udham Singh as a subject. Watch them on his martyrdom day and share the information on your social media handles. While in custody during his final days, Udham Singh called himself Ram Mohammad Singh Azad. Udham Singh Nagar in Uttarakhand is named after Udham Singh. Udham Singh went on a 42 hunger strike while in prison and was force-led by the authorities. Hunger strike in prison. Udham Singh was a member of revolutionist Gadar party. The official name of the ancestral town, Sunam, was changed to Sunam Udham Singh Wala. The life of the Udham Singh and his revenge is a historical page from the Indian freedom struggle. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre became a cornerstone event that changed the outlook of British in India. This is a day to recognize the lives of freedom fighters. We love freedom and we love to respect those who fight for the freedom of a nation. We are going through a period where history is losing its importance. This day will attract interest and draw attention to the lives of those that impacted history. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemoration. We thank everyone for joining us. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. It is mandatory for generating certificates. All the certificates will be issued at once. Once they are available, you can download it from the website. And we have also circulated feedback form for yesterday's 2 days event to your email address. Those who have not received the email, you can check the website. You can find the link on the website also. Check your bulk mail or spam. Always add our email addresses to your contacts so that no mail misses your inbox. Can fill the feedback form and certificates will be generated in due course of time and will be updated on the website. And there is an upcoming 1-week international seminar on occasion of World Breastfeeding Week, which is celebrated by us every year for 1 week. So this week also, starting from tomorrow, that is August 1st till August 7th, we will be having 1 week international seminar on breastfeeding awareness. We'll have various sessions related to breastfeeding awareness, women, health, child development, sustainable development, health, well-being. Anyone interested to make presentations, We request everyone to register and complete the formalities so that you can make presentations. And also we have started the process for preparing for the publication. So for the publication, you can visit to publication section on the website for the details. And soon the form will be available for the registration of publication, where you can share the details and documents for your papers presented in the series. Only those papers, presentations made in the entire series from past 2.5 years are only eligible. If you want your research work, your paper, or your manuscript to be published in this series publication, then that needs to be presented, which is mandatory to be part of the publication. So if you are looking out for publication in this once in a lifetime commemoration series, you can register yourself in any of the upcoming webinar series or conferences, workshops, seminars, symposiums, and accordingly you can make the presentation so that you will be eligible for the publication. So we thank you once again for joining us. So see you all tomorrow. The registration links have been already shared for the 1 week international seminar. So we request everyone to register and keep joining, and also share with your friends so that they can also get the benefit. And see you all tomorrow in the 1 week international seminar for 1 week. Take care. Good night.